This is Kate and Clyde's tree farm. Yeah. No, like this. Yeah.
Hey, I'm Lydia.
And I'm Cody. Wow, that was good. We should have scripted this.
So we're the owners of Kate and Clyde Tree Farm that we started in the fall of 2019.
We're two of the four owners. The other two are asleep.
Napping.
Quarantine naps upstairs.
So we just wanted to let y'all know kind of our backstory of why we started Kate and Clyde Tree Farm, and I'll let Cody take that over.
Yeah, so I guess it started about 4 years ago. So we live in North Texas, kind of outside the Dallas area here, and we were moving back to the area from Houston. And at the time, we thought we were going to be building a house on about 10 acres. And so we started looking for trees to line the driveway with. And having never bought any trees before, it turns out trees are pretty expensive. And just
how much was it gonna?
Yeah, it was going to be for the number of trees that we wanted to get, oak trees to line the driveway for 200 feet was going to be thousands of dollars in trees. And the particular variety of oak tree that we were looking at, a bur oak, we were talking to my dad about it, and he mentioned that he had a bur oak tree, or two bur oak trees actually, in his front yard. And when we moved back here, we noticed that they dropped a lot of acorns. So at the time, we had not even a one-year-old daughter, and we basically spent the fall picking up acorns in my dad's yard and planting them on this piece of property that we thought we'd be building our house on. Lo and behold, that spring, we had about 100 of them come up, all from this kind of one shovel of dirt out and dropping an acorn in, and we had pretty good success. And so since then, we've always called the falls here acorn season. And the kids and I, now we have two kids, Madison 4 and Knox 2. And I usually go out in the fall more than I care to admit. Some 7 days a week usually we
Every
pick
day,
up.
after work.
We pick up acorns, whatever kinds of acorns we can find around town. Sometimes we knock on someone's door and ask them if we can have the acorns that we see in their yard. People are pretty good sports about it. So last year we had, 2 years ago, in the fall of 2018, we had some family in from out of state, some family in from different parts of Texas, and basically it's just a way to keep the kids doing something. We all loaded up in the car and we went over to my dad's house and picked a bunch of acorns and immediately sowed them in our flower bed up here, and probably spent an hour and a half planting these acorns, and had just over 100 of those come up last spring, the spring of 2019. It's just kind of an experiment, something fun to do, and had some pretty good luck. The downside was we had lots and lots of these little oak trees coming up in our flower bed. So along with that came grass and weeds, and there wasn't a great way to deal with the grass and weeds when you have 100 oak trees embedded in them that you don't want to hurt. So
and the kids would walk in the flower beds.
Yeah, the flower beds being right where the kids played, and they would stomp all over them. And then a few months later, we started talking about, we've been saving for the kids' college since they were born, and we are using a 529 So for those of you who may not know about a 529, it's a college savings account that you put money into after you pay your taxes on your income, and then that money grows tax-free. So all of your profit that you make from the investing there, you don't have to pay any taxes on that. That said, you do have to pay penalties on that money if you were to use it for non-education related expenses. And so it's obviously the trade-off there between the tax benefit and it being tied to a very specific use case. And while we think that our kids will probably go to college, there's no way to know the future. And if one of them would like to start a business instead of going to college when they're 18, or that's not your traditional education expenses, we'd have to pay a significant amount of penalties in order to use that money. So our kind of solution to that is to break up the amount of money that we invest in the 529s for the kids and the more traditional education expenses, and then and what we're doing here in the tree farm. So we are putting money every week into an account that is effectively a college savings account, but that money is directly invested into the tree farm that we have here. And as we thought about things that children have going for them in terms of the ability to acquire wealth and build money, is that they have time on their side. So Knox, our 2-year-old, has 16 years for his money to compound and be reinvested and grow into a significant amount of money before he even turns 18, and 14 years for Madison. So the tree farm was really interesting to us. It doesn't require much upfront money, so it really requires mostly sweat equity up front, picking up acorns, finding a place locally that sells compost or bark mulch, and then a few pots is really all we have in it. And then we have a lot of coming out and watering the trees and giving the kids something to do and take care of, those sorts of things. So it has made this really attractive for us.
And this is all on the side of our house. We have, how big of area is this, do you think?
This might be a quarter of an acre, about 10,000 square feet, that we're going to try to keep this tree farm to here. So we are on about 1.5 acres, but to keep people happy in the neighborhood and to keep mom happy, we're going to attempt to contain ourselves as much as possible. And two, we want to make it attainable. We don't want it to come across like you have to have multiple acres to start this thing. If you can see right here behind us, this is what we started off with, which would be a small portion of a backyard in town.
Oh. What was that?
I don't know. We'll edit that. This year, the fall of 2019, we have done what you can kind of see back here behind us. We bought some different kinds of pots. We expanded the varieties of acorns that we were picking up. This year, we've also picked up quite a few pecans that are from around town here. And we're growing somewhere in the ballpark of 1,000 trees this year. So when we think of kind of about the financials of what a small tree nursery like this could do, if we grew these trees from acorns for a year or two, they could be worth, somewhere between $5 and $20 for a tree, depending on the size that they get. A good hobby and something like this that may yield $5,000 in 2 years could directly turn around and be reinvested into the business. And so what we're looking at here is basically a lot of fun with me and the kids. A lot, watering the trees, doing something together outside to keep us active. And this, in a year or two.
I'm part of it too.
Yeah.
A little bit. Maddie says I'm always inside doing dishes. So.
But she also does edit these videos and then is gonna be the brains behind this YouTube channel. So if you like the video, thumbs up, Mom. And I'm saying it on camera here. So our goal for the fall of 2020 is to collect and sow 10,000 acorns, pecans, into our beds. And hopefully with a decent germination rate and survival rate, we'll have several thousand more trees next year to continue on. So
that's 9,000 more than what we did this year.
Yeah.
So we have big goals, but I think we can do it.
Yep. So
thanks for watching.